Kenny Porter and Baldemar Rivas introduce us to a new world within the DC universe as the evil Darkseid and his anti-life engine assault Earth, and it's up to the mech-suited Justice League to defend the planet at all costs. Kenny Porter explores a new world in the DC universe in the premiere issue here and gets right into the plot, using issue 1 to wonderfully set up the history of this universe and why, unlike other Earths, this one is using giant robots to battle Darkseid and his Parademons. I was surprised at how dark the story got right off the bat, just bodying heroes left, right and center, and I think it was a great way to sell the stakes for the story but also change things up from the usual, since I guarantee you many thought it was just going to be giant robots smashing into one another, and while we do get a bit of that, I like that there has been some thought put into how these robots are actually existing and they're not just turning up and Batman's got a new mech suit and Flash has a mech suit and there's no real explanation to it. I love the inclusion of the JSA and Superman's origin into the main plotline, as Kenny used them to great effect to sell the immense stakes the characters face, and I'm hoping in future issues we get to explore the JSA all stopping becoming heroes and instead becoming robot making scientists, since that in itself is a really interesting premise. Baldemar Rivas introduces the visual style for the world with some colourful and fast-paced artwork, invoking classic DC Comics aesthetics with the JSA and mixing things like the Iron Giant and even Neon Genesis Evangelion. Rivas' designs for all of the characters' mechs were awesome and all really distinct, so that you can kind of immediately tell who it is even when they're in silhouette, so that's really important in design and I think he knocked it out of the park. DC Mech issue 1 was a surprisingly dark and deep introduction to the new world of the DC universe, filled with cool robot action, a unique use of the JSA, Superman's origin, and the history of the DC universe in general. I'm going to give this issue a 9.5 out of 10. DC Mech issue 1 heads to 1945, where the JSA have been welcomed home after ending World War II. Hailed as the heroes they are, but the celebrations are cut short as a boom tube opens above the city and a giant parademon comes through. The JSA are outgunned by the giant's sheer power as the beast kills Dr. Fate, Sandman, and Johnny Thunder, before the creature unleashes a laser blast hitting Hawkman, who pushes Hawkwoman out of the way, saving her life as Carter is killed. Sha'ira cradles the skull of Carter before flying into a rage and leading who is left of the JSA against the Parademon. The JSA combine their powers to soon take down the beast, but the team know that that was only a scout and the real war has just begun. The survivors of the team know that the age of heroes they helped shepherd in is now over, as in the weeks and months that followed the attack, the planet began making weapons to ensure their children were ready for the future, and the JSA hung up their costumes for lab coats. The team wonder that when death is at their door again, who will protect them, as decades later, Krypton is about to be consumed by the Apokolips anti-life engine. Jor-El and Lara race with their son to their lab, knowing that the tyrant of the planet must be stopped, and to do that they need to bless the universe with their greatest creation. Lara tells her son Kal-El that he carries the future on his shoulders, but also the love for a better tomorrow. Jor-El loads up Kelix into the rocket, contacting his new Genesis team as Big Barda and Orion blast through the Parademon hordes in their own mech suits. Orion knows that they have delayed the same fate that befell their planet, and now Krypton is lost as well. Barda knows they will keep fighting until the House of El can unleash their secret weapon on the villain. Lara wants to give her son a head start, joining Jor in commandeering their own mech suits to show Darkseid and Apokolips why Lara is the best pilot this side of the Red Sun. Jor-El and Lara defend their son's mech suit as it blasts off into deep space, holding back Darkseid's anti-life engine as the planet explodes. Baby Kal-El is soon greeted by Kelix aboard his ship, learning that it is his onboard guide who wants to begin the child's training right away, since they have several years before they reach their destination. In present-day Metropolis, the rogues rob Star Labs in their mechs, stealing a device as Heatwave says that he was promised that they could burn something. Captain Cold says that he can burn something when they raid Star City, wondering where their ride out of town is as a flash of light speeds past them. Cold tries to blast the red blur, but the Flash says that he'll have to be faster than that. Captain Cold reminds the hero that they had a deal. He stays on his turf and the rogues promise not to turn his mech into a steel coffin. Captain Cold unleashes a blast device into some nearby people, but Flash protects the people with his shields. A voice tells Wally to stay on mission, but Wally reminds the person that Barry left him in charge of Project Flash, and besides, Captain Cold can't actually hit him. Captain Cold, however, very nearly does, prompting Wally to think he's got some upgrades on his ice cannon. The being from before says he's coming to help, but Wally says that Barry did this on his own, and so will he. Suddenly, Flash is hit by one of Captain Boomerang's giant boomerangs. The rogues surround the hero Mech as Batman blasts off from his Batcave orbital station. Alfred tells him to bring this one back in one piece, since he and Bruce's godmother can only build them so fast. Batman announces his arrival to the rogues, telling them to shut down and step out of their cockpits. He smashes into the ground, telling the villains that he is the defender of this planet as he whips a batarang at them. Batman tells Flash to only dismantle and disarm the mechs as fast as he can, as at the source wall, Darkseid is told by Granny Goodness that 8 billion people now reside on the backwater planet Earth, and that's more than enough to finish fueling the anti-life engine. Darkseid demands that she continue to mine all of the minerals within the source wall, wanting enough biomech parademons to swarm Earth like locusts. He asks about the advanced forces, learning that Calabac and his forces have dealt with the Rand fleet, while Despero's team dealt with the rebel dominators near Thanagar. She also mentions the construction team sent to Earth's solar system failed to make their fleet-sized boom tube. Darkseid becomes angered, knowing that without that boom tube they can't get all of their forces to Earth. He learns that the team were utterly destroyed by something that Granny assumes was just the Earthlings knowing that they are coming. Darkseid decides then it's time to sound the drums of war, wanting the Parademons sent to Earth as he overlooks the writhing mass that is the anti-life engine, knowing that when they see it, they will know that the one truth in existence is Darkseid. Batman and the Flash meanwhile finish up the rogues, arresting the men as Batman soon gets some alerts, knowing the Parademons are finally there. The creatures emerge from a boom tube portal as Batman sends out a distress call to all of Earth's governments, telling them that the time they have prepared for is finally here. Flash wonders how they can stop 3 of them when the JSA barely stopped 1, but Batman knows that they have to try since they are Earth's last defense. Lex Luthor meanwhile tells General Sam Lane that he knows the boom tube has opened and they are ready, but Sam wants to know where their troops are and where Captain Steve Trevor as well as the Ferris spacecraft they were promised are. Lex assures him that the armies are on their way, but Sam should be asking about whatever the hell entered Earth's atmosphere from deep space just now. Batman and Flash continue to evade the Parademons as Wally asks Batman to hit them with the EMP, but Batman knows that won't work since they are biomechanical and the EMP has no effect on them. The heroes continue to try and blast away the Parademons as Wally wonders what they can do now, so Batman tells him to just take out as many as he can to give Earth a fighting chance. Flash is soon smashed down by one of the alien mechs as they come for Batman, who demands Alfred send every armament they have in the cave. His suit soon tells him of an alien signal approaching fast as the Superman smashes a Parademon into the ground, killing it. The being tells Batman that his backup has arrived as Flash asks who this guy is, but Batman has no idea, finding his mech is registering an off-world tech as the white robot blows through another Parademon trying to attack Batman. With the Parademons down, Kal-El reveals himself, hoping that everyone is okay. Suddenly, Batman grabs his mech, tasering it and knocking it down as Kal wonders if he offended them, but Batman confronts the Kryptonian in person, telling him a hostile alien force just dropped out of the sky during an invasion, and while he's not offended, he's furious and the Kryptonian better start talking.